World Bank on National Land System. On the foreign scene, Canada invests $18.6 million to boost affordable homes in Calgary. Now the news in detail. The Naira yesterday appreciated to 1,730 Naira per dollar in the parallel market from 1,740 Naira per dollar on Wednesday. However, the Naira depreciated to 1,650 Naira 2 kobo per dollar in the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market (NAFEM). Data from Financial Market Dealers Quotation (FMDQ) showed that the indicative exchange rate for NAFEM rose to 1,650 Naira 2 kobo per dollar from 1,645 Naira 4 kobo per dollar on Wednesday, indicating 4.8 depreciation from the Naira. The Federal Executive Council (FEC) has approved the 2025-2027 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework, setting Nigeria's federal budget at 47.9 trillion naira for 2025. The plan includes 9.22 trillion naira in new borrowing to finance the deficit, with an oil benchmark of $75 per barrel production at 2.6 million barrels per day and an exchange rate of 1,400 naira to the dollar. The framework presented by the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning projects GDP growth of 4.6% in 2025. It also emphasizes fiscal reforms, including sustaining market deregulation for petroleum prices and urging the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited (NNPCL) to reduce production costs. Minister of Budget and Economic Planning made this known after the council meeting in Abuja. The MTEF is scheduled for submission to the National Assembly between Friday and Monday similarly. The Federal Executive Council (FEC) yesterday approved a budget proposal of 47.9 trillion for the 2025 fiscal year and borrowing of the 13.8 trillion naira. The Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, disclosed these while briefing State House correspondents at the end of the council meeting, presided over by President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The approval is part of the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework (MTEF) and Fiscal Strategy Paper for 2025-2027 by the Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2007. The framework is expected to be submitted to the National Assembly as required by law either on Friday or Monday. Bagudu outlined several key parameters that will guide the 2025 budget based on economic projections and government priorities. These include a projected gross domestic product (GDP) growth rate of 4.6% for 2025, an oil price benchmark of $75 per barrel, and an exchange rate of 1,400 naira to $1. Additionally, the government anticipates oil production at 2.6 million barrels per day. In terms of fiscal strategy, the budget assumes that the government will borrow approximately 13.8 trillion naira, which is about 3.87% of the GDP, to fund key infrastructure projects and economic initiatives. Bagudu emphasized that this borrowing is part of a strategic plan to balance government spending with sustainable debt management. Bagudu also revealed that for the first time, the government's budget will include contributions to the development commissions that had recently been passed or were in the process of being passed by the National Assembly. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has suspended the Executive Secretary, Federal Capital Development Authority (FCDA), Shehu Hadi Ahmed, indefinitely. A statement issued Thursday by the Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications and New Media to the Minister of FCT, Lere Olayinka, said the indefinite suspension was with immediate effect. Hadi was also directed to hand over to the Director of Engineering Services in the FCDA. Now, General Muhammadu Buhari International Airport, Maiduguri, is set to commence full international operations by January 1st, 2025. This milestone upgrade is positioned to not only enhance connectivity for the Northeast Zone, but also to strengthen Maiduguri's role in international air travel and cargo transportation. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development Festus Keyamo, who recently visited the airport to facilitate vital discussions on the forthcoming upgrade, was accompanied by chief executives from key aviation agencies. Some of the CEOs include Olubunmi Kuku, Managing Director of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, Farouk Umar, the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, NAMA, Chris Najomo, the DG of the National Civil Aviation Authority, ably represented by Balang and the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET. The delegation, which included other critical stakeholders like the Customs, DSS, Immigration, NDLEA, and others, was warmly received by Babagana Umar Zulum, the Executive Governor of Borno State. During the meeting, Zulum expressed his gratitude to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for appointing Keyamo, whose commitment and visionary leadership have contributed significantly to the advancements within the aviation sector since his appointment. As part of the federal government's response to the 2024 flood disaster, the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Zubaida Umar, represented by the head of NEMA Yola Operations Office, Ladan Ayuba, officially flagged off the distribution of relief items to victims in Demsa, Lamurde, and Numan local government areas of Adamawa State. In his remarks, Ayuba conveyed heartfelt sympathy on behalf of the Director General of NEMA to the victims and urged the beneficiaries to make proper use of the relief items. He emphasized that the support is intended to alleviate the impact of the flood disaster on their livelihoods. The distribution event was attended by various state government officials, including representatives from the Adamawa State Emergency Management Agency, Chairman of Numan and Lamurde local government area, the Adamawa State Commissioner of Information, and a representative of the Honorable Member for Demsa, Numan, and Lamurde Federal Constituency. We'll take a pause here to bring you more stories in the build sector. Stay with us. Still there on Housing TV News at the top of the hour. Moving on to the built environment. The federal government has approved a 250 billion naira real estate investment fund to provide long-term affordable mortgages for Nigerians. Announced by Finance Minister Wale Edun after the Federal Executive Council meeting, the initiative seeks to address Nigerians' housing deficit of 22 million units while boosting private sector investment. The fund, a blend of government and private sector capital, aims to offer mortgages at interest rates between 11% and 12%, significantly lower than the market rate exceeding 30%. Edun said the fund is part of broader efforts to create jobs and enhance economic growth through affordable housing. The federal government announced it has created approximately 252,800 jobs for skilled and unskilled workers through housing projects under President Bola Tinubu's administration. This was disclosed by the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dengiwa, at the 13th National Council of Lands, Housing and Urban Development meeting in Gombe State. Dengiwa stated that the housing investment had positively impacted economic growth, job creation, and poverty alleviation. He highlighted ongoing construction at 14 sites under the Renewed Hope Cities and Estate program, comprising 10,112 housing units across states like Yobe, Gombe, and Lagos. Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Ahmed Dengiwa, revealed plans for the National Urban Development Policy (NUDP) to make Nigerian cities sustainable and resilient. Speaking in Gombe, he noted that rapid urbanization will increase Nigerians' urban population to 70% by 2050. He emphasized the policy's potential to address public health, climate change, and save ecosystems. Introducing the 15-minute city concept, Dengiwa envisioned communities with essential services within walking distance. He also called for an annual National Urban Forum to tackle challenges posed by the rapid growth of urban areas. Now, the federal government is partnering with the World Bank to establish a national land digital system to improve land transaction transparency and efficiency. Housing Minister Ahmed Dengiwa announced the initiative during a meeting with state commissioners in Gombe, emphasizing its potential to boost economic activity and formalize land transactions. With over 90% of Nigerian land unregistered, the project aims to increase formal land transactions from under 10% to over 50% within a decade. The partnership will ensure investor confidence and support efficient land administration, with priority given to finalizing an operational framework. Now to Lagos State, the state government says it is joining forces with the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN, on ways to strengthen building regulations and prevent building collapse. The Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Dr. Oluyinka Olumide, made this known during a courtesy visit by COREN's Lagos Technical Committee to the ministry recently. The commissioner said that to enhance safety and prevent building collapse, it was paramount to embrace collaboration in the areas of getting the right professionals on site, interpreting designs, and curbing erring professionals. He explained that the partnership would enhance the reliability of the construction process and strengthening regulatory measures through training and certification programs for artisans, builders, and contractors, as only certified professionals will be permitted to work on projects. Reinforcing the importance of qualified expertise in ensuring structural stability, Permanent Secretary, Office of Physical Planning Engineer Oluwole Sotiwe, urged engineers to constantly maintain the highest level of professionalism within their specialized fields, adding that COREN should also embrace collaboration with other stakeholders in the built environment, such as builders, architects, and developers, for the sustainability of the system. To wrap up Housing TV news on the foreign scene, the city of Phoenix reported is on track to meet its goal for creating or preserving 50,000 affordable housing units. As of September 30th, 96% of the target has been achieved, with 22% of the units deemed affordable for families earning below 80% of the area median income. The city also noted challenges in rising median rents, which increased by 47% between 2019 and 2022, and median home sale prices, which rose by 56%. Phoenix project adding over 200,000 households by 2050, further straining housing affordability. Still on the foreign scene, the Canadian federal government has invested $18.6 million to create and repair 1,920 affordable housing units in Calgary. The funding includes 36 new units, such as the 24 at Ogden Hub, 29, an affordable housing complex aimed at supporting families experiencing poverty and homelessness. The initiative aligns with Canada's broader efforts to expand affordable housing, ensuring vulnerable populations have access to safe and sustainable living spaces. That's the much we can take on Housing TV News at the top of the hour. Before we go, a quick recap of our top stories. Federal government approves 2025-2026 medium-term expenditure framework, targets 47.9 trillion naira for 2025. Naira rises to 1,730 naira per dollar in parallel market. Maiduguri Airport to commence international flight operations by January 2025. Federal government collaborates with World Bank on National Land System. On the foreign scene, Canada invests $18.6 million to boost affordable homes in Calgary. For more news in the housing Store and Apple Store to stay connected. I am Mimuna Bagudu. Thanks for watching and bye for now.
And click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts. On Facebook, Housing TV Africa. On Twitter, Housing TV Africa. Instagram, Housing TV Africa.
Housing TV Africa, your first in housing development broadcasting.